March 18th, let's see, we have Choice Day coming up on Wednesday. We start wrapping up mythology this week. Next week is our last week. We take tests next week over all of Greek mythology. This is our last big week of stories. Next week we only have one story on Monday. We're going to do two different types of review games next week. One that has a little buzzer system, and then another one where you get a chance to win candy. And then we're going to do a story. Then we have the final test that goes into all of it. This week, let's see, we have two big stories that are going to be fun today. Tomorrow we're going to kill one of you because we're going to be going to the underworld. Wednesday we're going to finish out the rest of the blue sheet, and then we're going to have the Choice Day. Thursday we'll get to a story about the sun and a girl who picks a fight with gods. And then Friday we have your last Greek mythology quiz. Camp friend list closes tonight. I was going to close it last night, but I had kids email me saying they weren't able to do it. They asked for one more day, so I'm giving them for tonight.
I did it last night.
Does anyone have camp shirt order form stuff? If you do, you can give that to me and I'll take it from you. AJ?
My mom just sent me the money for camp cost.
Now I just need the permission slip also. It won't be good. Because the permission slip is what means I'm not kidnapping you and breaking the law. The money is just that we can pay the people to kidnap you. So I just need the permission slip to make sure I can legally kidnap you. And if you need a new one, let me know. I have new ones over there.
Okay, I need new ones.
And your B points are updated. That's why you added 15 B points to what you had. That's why some of you guys excitedly spent them on snacks already. And your third 9 weeks grade is posted and updated. And overall, they were pretty good. I had very, very few. I think I only had one F in all of my classes. So overall, it was decent. Hi, Martin.
Do you have my permission slip? Because I'm pretty sure my mom put it on.
I believe so. Actually, no, I don't think I do have yours. So I have to check that. If you see me at the end of class, I can look it up, but I believe yours is one I'm missing, but I can verify to make sure. I don't want to lie to you. Go away. Freeze button. Stop it. There we go. 9 weeks, fourth quarter starts today. I did officially update your fourth 9 weeks grade. You all have an A+ right now. I went in and gave you a 1-point grade out of 1 for participation. So if you go on Skyward, it tells you have an A+ for English. So at least some of you guys, you have that and you can screenshot it and brag to your parents about how great you are. Plus, new 9 weeks means you get your final Heroes Hall Pass, which I'll be handing to you here in a moment. I recommend when you write your name on it, you do it in pen, but I mean, you could do it in pencil if you wanted to. Whatever you do, I recommend writing a name on it somehow. Then, if you have the old hall passes, you're more than welcome to hold on to them. They're good through the end of the year. If you want to trade it in for points, you can. Just put it on the X on my desk at the end of class and make sure your name is on it. Tay?
What do you do with B points at the end of the year?
And going on from there, tardies again do not reset until the end of the year, so try not to get yourself in trouble with that one. Camp Tecumseh shirts, again you have until Thursday of this week if you are wanting to order them, and then you should be good to go on that one. And we get to pick 3 more people to get points for this, and then we'll get to our stories for today. Pause. Yeah. Like hop on pop. So hop on pop. Dr. Seuss book.
I don't get it.
Me either.
Of course you don't.
Back to this story from last week, just to run through it so we can get into our 2 stories for today.
Hades.
What is the name of the girl he gets a crush on? Persephone.
Persephone.
Who does he have to get permission from?
Zeus.
Zeus happily gives the permission. And then how does he go about?
Snatches her with the flower. He puts the flower up and he
Flower
drags her
comes
down.
in.
Uses a white veil.
Flower fishing. No, that's just your own family. And there.
Smacked.
Yeah.
You gonna take that from
Who is her mom?
Demeter.
Demeter, who gets upset, confronts Zeus. Zeus says, suck it up, you're out of luck. What is her job?
Greater harvest.
So what does she do as sadness?
No more greater harvest.
So nothing ends up growing. Zeus doesn't care about that until what happens? That's when Zeus suddenly starts caring. Tells her to make things grow. She says no. So he has to end up sending a message down that Hades has to let Persephone
Why does he have a
leave.
phone?
Before she leaves, what is it he gets her to agree to?
Dinner to eat food.
Have dinner and eat food together. What does she eat during the dinner?
Three pomegranates.
Pomegranates, which are like cranberries, but
When she
different
ate food,
flavor.
she stayed on there forever now.
And then she goes back up to Mount Olympus, and everything's going well until they find out that she had pomegranates, because what's the drawback to the pomegranates?
They have something insane.
Then they come up with a compromise, which is
She didn't eat like the whole pomegranate, so she doesn't have to stay there for the whole year.
only have to stay down there for part of the year,
Which
which is how they explain seasons. When they're
Summer.
together, it is
Summer.
summer, and then when they're apart, it becomes
Winter.
and then goes all the way back around and becomes this non-stop cycle.
Why is this spring and fall?
So in this picture, who's this one?
Hades.
Hades, the yellow, and the one in the background,
Persephone.
and that's for Persephone.
You could have just put it in the back.
Oh,
You could have did this one. Why does Hades? Oh, you did it because he knew it was gonna smack his toes out.
So, that leads us into today's story with Prometheus. And with Prometheus, we now have humans, but we've also introduced wintertime. Well, animals can get through winter without a problem. Why do animals have no problem? They have fur. But humans don't have fur. So when we get to these first big winters, humans really struggle. Even though they go into caves to try and stay warm, it ends up freezing them. They pray up to the gods like,
Why don't they
hey,
have fire?
we're dying. And that becomes their issue. They go, hey, gods have fire. Why can't humans have fire too? And Prometheus goes and talks to Zeus and goes, hey, why don't we give them some of our fire so that way this race of humans doesn't die? And Zeus goes, no, I refuse to let humans have fire. Prometheus goes, why? Why aren't you going to give these people fire? Because if not, they die. Zeus goes, I have two good reasons. The first one is, there is a prophecy that says the world will be destroyed by flames, by the oracle who could, so it's like Prometheus could foretell the future, but even longer distance than what Prometheus could do. And this oracle said that at one point the entire planet will be consumed by flames, so you always have to beware of fire. And Zeus said the idea of giving fire to, who made this race of humans? It's like, if you give fire to this race of humans, it's like going to a toddler and then giving them a blowtorch and going, look, fireworks store. And being like, let's see what happens. It's like nothing good. So no fire to humans, they're going to burn the place down. Prometheus goes, okay, then what's your other reason? He goes, well, the other one's a bit more personal. So, you know how when I get really stressed out, I like to take off my sandals and go down to earth and just run around and stomp on people?
You're gonna burn
And Prometheus is like, yeah, it's kind of creepy because they get between your toes. He's like, exactly. So here's my problem. If we give humans fire, then much like Hephaestus, they're going to figure out how to use that fire to shape metal. And if they can use that fire to shape metal, they can make sharp, pointy weapons. Prometheus looks at him and goes, okay.
He's gonna slap his feet.
It's not like they can kill you. He goes, no, they can't kill me. But when I go down to stomp on them, if they have spears, they can yank right in the toes, and that's going to hurt. Quick timeout. Imagine that your guys' summertime hobby is taking off your shoes, going outside and finding an anthill, and just going, I'm Godzilla! Roar, roar, roar! And stomping on all of the ants. And then one day, when you go out to stomp on the ants, it turns out they have all glued thumbtacks to their backs. So when you go out to try and stomp on them, all you're doing is stomping on thumbtacks.
Why don't you just put on shoes?
So you could, but they don't like doing that. I don't know. So you can still stomp on them, but it just takes all the fun out of it. Will it kill you? No, but you're no longer going to enjoy the same thing. Zeus feels the same way. He's like, I want to stomp on them and squish them and feel the joy between my toes, and I don't want them to burn the world down. So no fire for humans. Well, that night, Zeus goes to bed. And Prometheus is like, you know what? What Zeus doesn't know won't hurt him. I think I'm going to go down and save these humans. So Prometheus goes and picks up some of the fire and decides to bring it down to the humans. So he goes down to the little human village and he walks in and he was like, hey, who's cold? And their humans like, we are. And he puts down the fire and is like, listen, here you go. And the humans are like, ah, and they see the fire like, oh, ooh, it's toasty. It's like thawing us out. And they're like, this is awesome. They're like, thank you for the fire. But then Prometheus has a realization. He's like, uh-oh. If I've given this village fire in order to save them, tomorrow morning when Zeus wakes up, he's just going to send a big flood and it's going to put out the fire and then it's all gone. So how is it I can help humans with fire where Zeus can't just send a
Teach them
flood?
how to light it.
He's like, if I teach them how to do fire, Zeus can't just send a flood. So he's like, all right, I better change this. Hey, humans. And they go, uh-huh. He goes, hang on a second. And he takes his foot and stomps out the fire and goes, stomp, 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 stomp. And the humans go, what? Did you just, that was, why would? He goes, I'm here to help you. Watch this. And he goes and picks up 2 sticks. And he goes, watch this. Shaka, 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 shaka. Boom! And then fire comes out of the ends of the sticks. And he's like, I'm a Boy Scout. And the humans go, oh, magic sticks! And he goes, no, not magic sticks. Anyone can do it. You, pick up sticks. And the guy's like, rah! He's like, make fire. And the guy's like, donka, 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 donka. He's like, no, you're an idiot. He's like, take it like this, and you go shaka, shaka, shaka. And the human goes, shaka, 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 shaka. Boom, ah! And he drops the sticks. He's like, fire! And all the humans are like, Bobby has fire sticks. And Prometheus goes, no, you all can do it. Everyone pick up sticks. And all the humans are like, shaka, 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 shaka. And they're all making fire everywhere. And Prometheus is like, perfect. Now you all know fire. So now Zeus can't send a flood. And one of the humans goes, but can't he just come down and kill everyone in the village? Prometheus goes, that's a good point. Okay, tonight, before he wakes up, run to another village and teach them how to make fire. And they're like, oh, well, that's a good idea. And he's like, but then you should probably keep going and have someone else run to a new village and have them teach someone, and then so on. And if enough people know fire, then Zeus can't kill all of you. He's like, I think that's a good plan. Good luck. And they go that night, and they run to new villages, and they spread the shaka shaka sticks. Next morning, Zeus wakes up, goes out onto the front porch of Mount Olympus and stretches with his morning coffee, and he's like, yum, 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 yum. Oh, it's so early in the morning, I can still see the stars in the sky. They're reflecting off the ocean in the middle of the world, and then they're reflecting off the grass out there. Why are there stars on the grass? That's Hermes! And he claps his hands, and Hermes comes running up. Son, why are there stars in the grass? Hermes goes, 1 second, Dad. And then takes off. Comes back up. He goes, yeah, those aren't stars. Those are fires. There's fires everywhere. And before Zeus can freak out, he goes, not the world on fire. There's humans running around with sticks, and they're going shaka shaka, and all of a sudden fires are starting everywhere. And Zeus goes, wait a minute, the humans have a bunch of shaka shaka sticks? He goes, uh-huh. And they're running around going shaka shaka, and there's fire everywhere? He goes, uh-huh. Zeus goes, wait a minute. It looks like humans know how to make fire, and there's no way they're smart to do it on their own. Only one person is smart enough and dumb enough to go behind my back and teach humans fire. That would be
Prometheus.
So he calls Prometheus up. He's like, Prometheus, my room, now! And Prometheus comes up. He goes, hey, buddy, would you know anything about this fire thing that's going around on Earth? And Prometheus, who's not very good at lying, goes, yeah, that was me. He was like, the humans were dying off. I didn't want them all to die. So I went down last night and I taught them fire. That way they can get through the wintertime and not have to die off. I figured, you'd be okay with it. And Zeus goes, I'm not okay with it. You know I didn't want them to have fire. This is not the first time you've gone behind my back. Because when was the first time?
The sacrifices.
Sacrifices. And what did I tell you after you taught humans sacrifices?
He'll let us learn to ask.
That he said the next time you do it, you are going to be you are going to be until you want to die. And he goes, guess what? This is the second time you went behind my back, so it's time for your torturing.
Until you want the door.
Here's what we're going to do. So he brings out these huge adamantium chains, wraps them all around Prometheus' arms and legs, and then drags him all the way up to this really high mountain, and then chains him up on this mountain. And he goes, this is the first part of your torture. You are so high up in the air that whenever Apollo drives his sun chariot by, it is going to burn your skin off and turn you into a big piece of bacon. Will that kill him?
No, because he's immortal.
But Zeus goes, I'm not done. Plus, every day, he snaps his fingers and this giant bird swoops down. He goes, this bird, this giant eagle, is going to land on your lap and use its beak to rip open your belly and eat your liver every day because it loves the taste of liver. And then every night, you're going to heal back up, and every day it shows back up and it rips out your liver. And Prometheus goes, And Zeus goes, and that's going to end? Never. It's going to be that way forever. Unless you answer one question. If you answer one question for me, I will let you go. And we can be brothers and we can give a hug. Prometheus goes, what's the one question? Well, here's where you guys can figure it out. As Zeus was king of all the gods, what was his biggest fear?
Somebody be overthrown.
By
His
one of his kids. What is Prometheus' special ability?
He's in the future.
So what's the question going to be?
Am I going to be overthrown?
Not am I.
When will I?
Who's going to overthrow me? So he goes, all you have to do is tell me who overthrows me, and this punishment ends immediately. Prometheus goes, done. No, I'm not going to tell you. Zeus goes, what? Why? Prometheus goes, I'm not an idiot. As soon as I give you this name,
Couldn't he just make up something?
he could, but as soon as he gives a name, what's Zeus going to do?
Check him out.
Not chain him up. Do something to kill them. He's like, I do not want to be responsible for someone else dying. I would much rather me be tortured than you get a chance to kill somebody else. Zeus goes, fine. Okay. How about this? Don't give me the name of the kid that overthrows me. Instead, give me the name of the mother of the kid who's going to overthrow me. How about that? Prometheus goes, oh, okay. No! Because what do you know Zeus is going to do?
Kill the mother.
Yeah. He's like, you'll just kill her instead. And Zeus goes, fine. Whatever, I'm leaving you here. And he does. He leaves Prometheus there and never frees him. Although Prometheus does eventually get released, but it's by one of Zeus's sons, and it's a story that we're going to see on Monday. But he stays up there for centuries, being burned and having a giant eagle rip out his gut every single day. Tay?
But did you just get used to it by the way?
You would think so, but I'm not sure you can get used to an eagle ripping out your gut.
What was the mistake made during the second?
So this is Prometheus bringing fire down to humans. And I don't know if any of you guys saw the Oppenheimer movie that came out in that Barbenheimer thing over the summertime about the guy who brought fire down, or brought the bomb to the people. But the original name of that movie, before they changed it to Oppenheimer, was American Prometheus. Because apparently they thought the idea of Oppenheimer bringing the bomb to humans was like Prometheus bringing fire down to the humans. Well, at this point, now that humans have fire and Prometheus has been punished, Zeus gets to go to the next part. Because it turns out he's upset not just with Prometheus who got fire down to humans, but he's also upset with the humans also. And he decides that humans are also going to get tortured. But there's a problem. He can't just come out and torture people. Because if they know that he's torturing them, they're going to stop doing something that he needs. Sacrifices. So he realizes he has to torture them without them knowing he's the one doing it. So he gets sneaky. And he comes up with a really elaborate plan for revenge called Operation Pandora. So Operation Pandora, we now have the fact that it was summertime. We've now introduced winter. We used to only have guys. At this point, we have now introduced women. So we now have both women and men as humans out there. But we do not have any form of evil has not been introduced yet. There's no hatred, there's no anger, there's no killing people. All we have is drama because we have men and women, and we have winter time, so they get cold, but no actual evils are out there. So Zeus decides he is going to introduce evils to the humans, but he has to be tricky with how he does it. Step number one, he calls Hephaestus up to Mount Olympus. When Hephaestus gets up there, he goes, Hephaestus, can I ask a favor of you? He goes, yeah, what's up? He goes, here's my favor. I have a whole bunch of this magic clay left over. Can you make for me one more human out of this clay? But I want for you to make for me the most beautiful woman you can think of. The most beautiful, outstanding version of a human, and then craft that out of the clay. Hephaestus is like, done, I got it. And who's he going to make her look like?
Aphrodite.
And he does. He sculpts this human girl out of clay to look just like Aphrodite. And if you squint your eyes, that looks just like Aphrodite. Once that Hephaestus has created her, Zeus goes, perfect. Now for the next part of my plan. And he takes this clay version of Aphrodite to Mount Olympus where all the other gods are. And he goes, all right, here's what I need you guys to be able to do. And he calls each of the gods up and he goes, this woman looks like the perfect example of what a perfect woman should be. But there's one problem. She needs a personality. So I need each god to come up with a personality trait that you think is perfect, and you're going to put that personality trait inside of her. Thus, we make a perfect woman with both looks and personality. So each god steps up, like Hera steps up, and she's like, I'm going to give this girl forgiveness because I've learned how to forgive you with all of your poor choices. And then Poseidon's like, I'm going to give her athletic ability so she learns how to swim and be able not to drown. And each god steps up with a different thing, all the way to Dionysus, who's like, I'm going to make her have the ability to party and be really outgoing. And AJ's question is?
I was going to ask you to go use the bathroom.
Yeah, please, go for it.
Yeah.
Until every god has given her some kind of special ability. And then Zeus steps up with his special plan. And his special plan is he gives her this little tiny kernel, this like little nugget that he concentrates of pure curiosity, the most pure curiosity you can think of. And then he crams this little nugget of curiosity, pushes it deep into her brain. Once it's been pushed deep into her brain, sprinkles on the magic dust, and she comes to life. Once she's been brought to life, he picks her up and he goes, let's go, and takes off running with her and goes and knocks on the door's house. No, house's door.
Or the door's house.
That's what house's door. Words are hard. And turns out the house belongs to,
Peter.
do you recognize who this was from before?
Epimetheus.
Epimetheus. And he knocks on the door of Epimetheus. And he goes, Epimetheus, did I ever thank you for creating this race of humans? And he goes, no, you never did. And he goes, well, I would like to thank you now. How would you like to get married? And Epimetheus is like, well, I've been on Tinder. I've thought about it. He's like, I've got the perfect woman for you. And in steps Pandora. He goes, this is going to be your wife, Pandora. And Epimetheus is excited. He's like, she's the perfect woman. And Zeus goes, exactly. She is going to get to live with you forever. Pandora doesn't know any better. And she's like, yay, I get to be married and life is happy. Epimetheus goes, is there anything you need from me? He goes, one thing. If I ever ask for you a favor, will you do a favor for me? He goes, yeah, that's easy. Zeus goes, that's it. If I ever show up and ask you for a favor, please just do whatever favor I ask, and we'll call it good. And that's it. He then leaves and lets Pandora and Epimetheus live together. And Zeus goes and waits for years for the next part of his plan to kick in. Because he needs to make sure that people no longer think this next part is connected to the first part. Jordan,
Can I refill my water bottle?
sure, bring it on over. So, at this point, Zeus begins the next part of his plan. Thank you. And he calls Hephaestus up again, and he goes, Hephaestus, this time I have a new plan I want us to do. What I want you to do is, can you create a box for me that's magical? It needs to be big, like the size of my podium here, and put a special lock on the front of it. So if this box is ever opened, it can never be closed again. It's like a magical lock that will always stay open. And Hephaestus is like, done, and creates a magic box. And he goes, here's your magic box. And he goes, perfect, you're good. Once he has his box, he goes back up to Mount Olympus again, and he goes, all right, everybody, come all up again. And all the Olympians come up. He goes, here's what I want you to do now. Here's my newest project. What I want you to do is create something evil. The most horrible, awful, evil spirit you can think of. Turn it into like a ghost form, and then you're going to put it into the box. Because I want a box of horrible, evil things. And each god's like, oh, this sounds like fun. So Hera comes up with jealousy. She's like, oh, I'm always jealous of you and your friends. And so she puts jealousy into it. Poseidon steps up and he's like, oh, the fear of not having any oxygen and drowning and having that anxiety tear through you. So he puts that little fear into it. And each god steps up. Ares comes up with bullying and so on. We get to Dionysus, who comes up with being drunk and being a disgrace, and he puts that in there. So each god comes up with this little ghost, and they go, and they put the little ghost inside the box until he gets to Athena. He gets to Athena, and he goes, dear, you've not put your little spirit inside there. And she goes, you never told us why you want a box of evil things. He goes, just for a project I'm working on. Athena does not trust him. And she goes, if he wants a box of evil things, nothing good is going to come from this. So instead of something evil, she comes up with something good. And she comes up with this little ghost called Hope. And she's like, whatever is going on, we're going to have something good to get us through it. So I'm going to put Hope in the box. So she puts the little box of Hope in there. Disappears, little ghost of Hope in the box. Words are hard. Zeus shuts the box, activates the little button so that it can never be closed once it's opened, picks up the box, takes off running. Goes back down to Epimetheus, kicks the door. Epimetheus opens it. Zeus runs in, sets the box down. He goes, oh, Epimetheus, thank goodness you're here. I have a special favor to ask of you. Epimetheus goes, of course, what is it? He goes, here's my favor. Do you see this large box? He goes, yeah, the box is right there. He goes, here's what I request of you. 1, can you hold on to this box for 1 week? I just need, next Monday, I will come back and take the box. I just need someone to hold on to it for a week. He's like, yeah, I can hold on to it for a week. That's fine. What else? He goes, 2, do not open this box. Under any circumstances, do not open it. He's like, okay, don't open the box. He goes, 3, don't tell Hera. Whatever you do, you cannot tell Hera about this box. It has to be a secret. He's like, repeat that to me. He's like, hold on to it for a week. Don't open it. Don't tell Hera. Zeus goes, perfect. Thank you, buddy. And he takes off. Later that day, Pandora comes in. She walks in and she's like, hang on, I'm home from the shop. Is there a large box in our family room? He goes, uh-huh. She goes, what is it? He goes, I don't know. She goes, can I open it? He goes, I don't know. She goes, okay. And she goes over and opens the box. And right before she does, he goes, whoa, wait, no, I remember now. She goes, what? He goes, Zeus brought that box. She goes, okay, what's in it? He goes, I don't know, but he did say that he's going to come back in 1 week and to not open it and to not tell Hera. That's what I remember. She goes, oh, well, can I at least move it out of the middle of the room? He goes, oh yeah, that's fine. So she starts pushing the box, and as she does, and pushes the box over to the side of the room, the box starts jumping around. And it goes, dear, the box is making noise. He goes, yeah, they do that sometimes. She goes, nope, that's kind of weird. Boxes shouldn't make noise. She's like, don't worry about it. She's like, that's a creepy box. And she keeps pushing it until she gets to the corner. And every day, when she walks into the room and goes by it, as she passes by the box, it makes a little and sort of moves around. And she's like, oh, I don't like this box. It's getting weird. And every day she tries to put it out of her mind. She can't. It keeps coming back to the forefront of her mind. The reason being the curiosity. Until finally, after 5 days, she goes up to her husband. She goes, hun, I think I know what's in that box. He goes, what? She goes, think about it. Who gave you the box? He goes, Zeus. She goes, right. Who does he not want to know about the box? He goes,
it's a wife.
She goes, exactly. What is it that Zeus is going to keep in a box for a week and hide from his wife that is making noise?
Or a baby.
A baby or?
A wife.
There you go. She was like, there's either a woman in there or there's a baby in there. We are part of a kidnapping. And he goes, no. She goes, yes. She goes, can I at least throw a sandwich in there? Because whoever's been in there has been there for a week, and I feel bad for him, so I can throw in like a Sprite and a sandwich. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. You can throw in a Sprite and a sandwich, and that's fine with me. So she grabs her Sprite and her sandwich, and she goes up to the box, and she's like, box, I'm going to throw in a Sprite and a sandwich. Don't be creepy, box. and she hits the little button, it springs open, and she throws in a sandwich, throws in a Sprite, and she closes it, and then twists the lock again. She's like, I think we're good. And the lid comes back up. She goes, ah! She was like, hon. And the lid goes, ah! She's like, I can't get the... And the lid keeps popping open. And then all of a sudden, after the lid pops open, she starts screaming as all of these evil ghosts go flying out and around the room and out into the world. And the Greeks believed these evil ghosts were the ones that start contaminating humans so badly that the humanity almost dies off, except one thing keeps them from giving up. And that would be hope that flies around and keeps people from giving up. Tomorrow, we're going to kill one of you because we're going to be going to the underworld.
No, kill me! And kill me! I hate my life! Kill me! My life sucks!
What is this class?
I don't know, man. A lot of special